happiness isn't something you stumble upon. It's not some elusive prize that only the lucky ones get to experience. No, happiness is a choice. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you take back control of your life. Most people go through life believing that happiness is the result of their circumstances. They think, if only I had more money, if only I had the right relationship, if only my boss recognized my work, then I'd be happy. But that's a lie. Because if happiness were truly tied to external circumstances, then why do we see people who have it all still miserable? And why do we meet people who have almost nothing yet radiate joy? It's because happiness isn't something you get, it's something you create. Now, I'm not saying life doesn't throw challenges at you. I'm not saying you won't experience pain, loss, setbacks. Of course you will. That's part of the human experience. But the real question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let circumstances define your happiness? Or are you going to decide right now that no matter what happens, you're in control of how you feel? Think about the most successful, fulfilled people you know. What do they have in common? It's not that their lives are free from struggle. It's that they've trained themselves to find happiness in the midst of it. They don't wait for things to be perfect. They don't sit around hoping for happiness to magically show up. They choose it every single day. And this is something you can start doing right now. You don't need more money. You don't need to change your job or move to a new city. You don't need anyone else to validate you. What you need is to wake up and decide that today, no matter what happens, you're going to find something to be grateful for. You're going to focus on what's good. You're going to choose happiness even if life isn't perfect. Because here's the truth, life will never be perfect. There will always be problems to solve, challenges to overcome, things that don't go as planned. If you keep waiting for the right conditions to be happy, you'll spend your entire life waiting. But when you choose happiness, when you make it non-negotiable, you become unstoppable. This isn't just some feel-good concept. It's backed by science. Studies show that people who practice gratitude, who intentionally focus on positive thoughts, who take control of their emotional state, they're not just happier, they're healthier. They live longer. They have better relationships. They perform better at work. Happiness isn't just a state of mind. It's the foundation for a successful, fulfilling life. So if you take one thing from this today, let it be this. Happiness is your responsibility. Not your jobs, not your partners, not your bank accounts, yours. And the moment you own that, and the moment you stop looking outside yourself for joy, is the moment your life truly begins. Don't wait. Don't postpone your happiness for some future event that may never come. Decide right now, this moment, that no matter what life throws at you, you're going to rise above it. You're going to create happiness from within. And when you do that, everything changes. Most people are chasing happiness like it's some prize waiting for them at the finish line. If I achieve this goal, I'll be happy. If I make more money, I'll be happy. If I meet the right person, I'll finally be happy. But that's a losing game, because happiness isn't something you chase. It's something you create moment by moment through the habits you build and the mindset you cultivate. Think about it. Have you ever accomplished something you once thought would bring you lasting happiness? Maybe a promotion, buying a new car, hitting a big milestone, only to find that after a few days or weeks, you were back to feeling the same as before? That's because external achievements don't create lasting happiness. They give you a temporary high, but it fades. Real happiness isn't built on moments of success. It's built on the foundation of daily habits. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is the habit of training your mind. Your brain is like a muscle. It grows stronger in whatever direction you train it. If you constantly focus on what's missing in your life, on what's wrong, on what's unfair, you're wiring your brain to find problems. And when your brain is wired to find problems, even the best moments of your life will feel incomplete. But when you train your mind to focus on gratitude, on progress, on what you can control, you start shifting your emotional state. And when you shift your emotional state, everything changes. Because let's be real, happiness isn't just about what's happening around you, it's about how you interpret what's happening. Two people can go through the same experience. One feels defeated, the other feels empowered. The difference? One has trained their mind to see opportunity where others see obstacles. So how do you start training your mind for happiness? You build habits that put you in control of your state. You start your day with intention. Before you even get out of bed, you decide what kind of day you're going to have. You prime your brain with gratitude, with visualization, with movement. You take control of your focus because where focus goes, energy flows. You also have to guard your mind against negativity. What are you feeding your brain every day? If you're constantly consuming negativity, whether it's from the news, social media, or toxic people, you're training your mind to expect the worst. And if you expect the worst, guess what? That's exactly what you'll experience. But if you fill your mind with powerful, uplifting content, if you surround yourself with people who challenge and inspire you, if you commit to learning and growing every day, you start programming your mind for success. This isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about taking ownership of how you experience it. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control how you respond. You can control what you focus on. And that control, that ability to shift your state, is the key to lasting happiness. So don't wait for happiness to find you. Build it. Train your mind like you train your body every single day. Because the quality of your life isn't determined by what happens to you, but by the habits and mindset you bring to it. Decide right now that you're done waiting, that from this moment forward, you're going to create happiness. One thought, one habit, one day at a time. Happiness isn't something that just happens, it's something you generate. But the challenge is most people are waiting for external circumstances to dictate their happiness. They say, I'll be happy when I find the right partner, when I find the right partner, when I lose the weight. But that approach is backward, because if your happiness is tied to an outcome, you're putting your emotional well-being in the hands of things you can't always control. True happiness comes from progress, not perfection. If you're not growing, you're dying. It's that simple. Every single one of us has an inherent need to evolve, to expand, to move forward in some way. It's wired into our psychology. And when you feel like you're progressing, when you're learning, developing, and becoming more, you experience a deep, fulfilling sense of happiness that no external achievement alone can ever provide. Think about a time in your life when you felt truly alive, when you were engaged, excited, and inspired. Was it when you were standing still, doing nothing? Or was it when you were growing, pushing yourself, learning something new, improving in some way? Maybe it was when you were working toward a big goal, learning a new skill, or overcoming a challenge. That's because growth is where fulfillment lives. But here's the catch. Growth isn't always comfortable. It requires you to step outside your comfort zone. It demands that you challenge your own limitations, push past fear, and embrace uncertainty. And this is where most people get stuck. They want the reward, but they don't want the discomfort that comes with growth. They want change, but they're afraid of the work it requires. But let me tell you, discomfort is the price of progress. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, you're not willing to grow. And if you're not growing, you can't be truly happy. So how do you make growth a daily habit? You start by setting standards for yourself, not goals, standards. Goals are great, but there's something you hope to achieve. Standards, on the other hand, define what you will not accept in your life. You don't hope to exercise, you decide that movement is part of who you are. You don't hope to learn, you commit to reading, listening, and expanding your mind every day. You don't hope to become more confident. You train your mind to focus on what's possible instead of what's missing. And you don't need to take massive leaps overnight. Small, consistent progress is the key. The most successful, fulfilled people in the world aren't the ones who wait for motivation to strike. They're the ones who take action before they feel ready. They move, they learn, they improve one step at a time. And in that process, they build a momentum that creates lasting happiness. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're waiting for the perfect moment to start, let me save you some time. There is no perfect moment. The perfect moment is the one you decide to make right now. Start small, read one page, do one push-up, take one step, but start. Because when you commit to progress every single day, happiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. Happiness isn't just about what's happening to you, it's about what's happening within you. The greatest shift you can make in your life is realizing that your emotions, your happiness, your fulfillment, they are all within your control. But most people live their lives reacting to the world instead of creating the world they want to live in. They wake up, check their phone, see bad news, get frustrated, and carry that energy into their day. Someone says something negative and suddenly their whole mood shifts. They let circumstances dictate how they feel instead of taking ownership of their state of mind. But here's the truth. Your mind is a muscle. And just like any muscle, you have to train it. If you don't train your mind, the world will train it for you. And most of the world isn't designed to make you happy. It's designed to make you fearful, uncertain, and reactive. The news thrives on negativity. Social media thrives on comparison. And if you let those things determine your emotional state, you'll always be chasing happiness instead of creating it. So how do you take back control? You do it by mastering the art of priming your mind. Every single morning, you have to take charge of your emotional state before the world has a chance to do it for you. Because if you wake up and immediately let stress, negativity, or distractions flood your mind, you've already lost the battle. But if you start your day with intention, if you fill your mind with gratitude, with a vision for the life you want to create, with the energy and focus you need, then you set yourself up to win. One of the most powerful tools for this is gratitude. And I don't just mean casually thinking about things you're grateful for. I mean feeling it, fully immersing yourself in it. Because fear, stress, and gratitude cannot exist in the same moment. When you are deeply grateful, you cannot feel anxious. You cannot feel angry. Your entire nervous system shifts. And the more you train yourself to focus on what's good, the more your mind will start seeing the good in everything. Another critical piece is movement and emotion. Comes from motion. You ever notice how hard it is to feel down when you're moving, when you're active, when you're fully engaged? Your physiology is directly connected to your psychology. If you sit slouched over, breathing shallow, thinking about problems, you'll feel lousy. But if you stand up, move, take deep breaths, put energy into your body, your entire state changes. That's why the most successful people don't wait until they feel like doing something. They move first, and the feeling follows. And the last piece, vision. You need a reason to wake up excited. A compelling future pulls you forward. It gives you energy, drive, and purpose. People aren't unhappy because life is bad. They're unhappy because they have nothing to look forward to, nothing they're working toward, nothing that excites them. When you're clear on your vision, when you remind yourself every day why you're pushing forward, happiness becomes a byproduct of the journey. So stop waiting for happiness to find you. Train your mind, train your body, train your focus. Because when you prime your mind every morning, you don't just have better days. You build a better life. Happiness isn't just about what's happening right now, it's about what you're growing toward. Think about it. The times you felt the most alive, the most fulfilled, weren't when you were sitting still, comfortable, coasting through life. No, it was when you were making progress, when you were pushing yourself, when you were becoming more than you were before. That's because happiness and growth are linked. If you're not growing, you're dying emotionally, mentally, spiritually. People get depressed, anxious, lost, not because life is too hard, because they feel stuck. They feel like nothing is changing. They feel like they're running in circles, repeating the same problems, having the same conversations, dealing with the same frustrations. And when you're stagnant, your energy dies, your enthusiasm fades. You start existing instead of living. But here's the secret. Progress doesn't have to be massive to create happiness. It doesn't mean you have to change your entire life overnight. It just means you have to move forward. Even small progress creates momentum. A single step in the right direction shifts your energy, changes your mindset, reignites that spark inside of you. That's why the happiest people in the world aren't the ones who have everything. They're the ones who are always becoming something more. They wake up with a purpose, with a vision, with a reason to push themselves every single day. So if you want to be happy, ask yourself, where am I growing? What am I improving? What am I working toward that excites me, that stretches me, that challenges me? It could be your career, it could be your health, it could be your relationships. It doesn't matter what it is as long as it's something, because when you stop growing, you start dying. And the only way to avoid that is to make progress every single day, even if it's small. Now, some people hear that and say, but I don't know where to start. They overcomplicate it. They think they need a perfect plan before they begin. That's a lie. You don't need to know everything. You just need to take action. You just need to commit to getting better, little by little, moment by moment. Because happiness isn't a destination, it's the byproduct of momentum. And when you create momentum in one area of your life, it starts spilling into every other area. You ever notice that? How when you start working out, suddenly you feel more confident. Suddenly your relationships improve. Your energy increases. Your mind sharpens. Why? Because progress in one area creates momentum in every area. That's the secret. That's how you break free from feeling stuck. You don't wait to feel good before you take action. You take action first. So don't settle for comfort. Comfort is the enemy of happiness. Growth is what brings fulfillment. And growth isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about deciding that today, right now, you're going to move forward, even if it's just a small step, even if it's just one thing, because in the end, happiness isn't found in what you have, it's found in who you're becoming. Happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you cultivate. It's not outside of you, waiting to be found in some perfect set of circumstances. It's inside you, built by the habits you create, the choices you make, and the perspective you bring to each day. And one of the most powerful ways to cultivate happiness? Contribution, giving. Adding value to someone else's life. Think about it. When are the moments in your life that you felt truly fulfilled? Was it when you got something, or was it when you gave something? Maybe you helped a friend through a tough time. Maybe you surprised someone with a gift, or showed up for someone when they needed you most. Those moments fill you in a way nothing else can. Because at the core of our humanity, we are wired to connect, to contribute, to matter to others. The biggest lie people believe about happiness is that it's all about getting the right job, getting the right relationship, getting more money, more recognition, more comfort. But happiness doesn't come from accumulation, it comes from significance. It comes from knowing that your life means something, that you're making an impact, even in small ways. If you want to feel happy every day, even when life is hard, you have to shift your focus from what's missing to what you can give. Because when you contribute, you step out of your own problems. You stop obsessing over what's wrong and start focusing on how you can make things right, not just for yourself, but for others. And the moment you do that, something shifts inside you. I've seen this over and over again. People come to me feeling lost, feeling like something's missing, like they're stuck in a cycle of stress, frustration, or emptiness. And when I ask them, who are you serving? Who are you helping? The answer is usually no one. They're caught up in their own world, their own problems. But the moment they step outside of themselves and start contributing, everything changes. Their energy shifts, their focus expands, and suddenly life feels meaningful again. You don't have to be a billionaire philanthropist to give. You don't have to wait until you have enough to make a difference. Contribution starts with what you have right now: a kind word, a helping hand, a little extra patience with a loved one, encouraging someone when they need it most. These things may seem small, but they are everything, because when you give, you remind yourself of your own abundance. You prove to yourself that you have something to offer, and that changes the way you see the world and yourself. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling down, if you're searching for happiness and not finding it, stop focusing on you and start focusing on who you can help. The moment you shift from getting to giving, you tap into a deeper, more lasting sense of fulfillment, because in the end, happiness isn't about what you take from life. It's about what you bring to it.